What's your feeling on the prospects of an 18-game schedule?
A lot of issues involved with that. Obviously, the positive is that it would probably generate more revenue in which to be able to help get a new collective bargaining agreement. That's probably the overriding reason. There's obviously concerns on the football side of things in terms of will it result in more injuries? How does that impact how the off-season operates? When does the preseason start? How long will it go? Does that impact the Super Bowl and how late it goes into February? All those factors are ones that are still getting flushed out. But I think the league's doing a good job of looking hard at every one of those and not minimizing anyone. If I was a betting man, I'd say that as part of a new collective bargaining agreement, we'll see 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games.
Did the 2 games come at the front end of the season or on the back end of the season?
I think you'd see the season possibly go to mid-February and probably still start either after Labor Day or possibly Labor Day weekend.
New York was recently awarded a Super Bowl, a cold weather Super Bowl. What's your feeling about having a cold weather Super Bowl and then perhaps Chicago getting in the mix sometime in someone's lifetime?
Well, it's untested area, so it's going to be new. The only cold weather Super Bowls we've had have been played in domes. Whether or not there's going to be a continuation of cold weather Super Bowls will depend on how this one works out. In terms of Chicago, if we had a big enough stadium, absolutely, we'd push for one. I think the reality is that's something that's so far down the road that it's not on our radar screen right now.
Roger Goodell seems very eager to expand the boundaries of the NFL, spread the game over to Europe. There's even been talk that if you do go to an 18-game schedule, that each team might play a game over in Europe. What's your feelings as far as trying to expand the NFL, have it become more of an international type game?
I think you've seen in the NBA and the NHL some measure of success by doing that. So I think it makes sense for the NFL. There's, I think, some trepidation on the behalf of some of the individual teams about what that does to the in-season preparation, the mindset of the clubs. Can they recover from that travel? If there were 18 games, it most definitely lends itself to having maybe an international game every year for each team.
Have the Bears ever been approached about playing in Europe, and what was your response?
Not yet. It's only been for 2 years that we've been doing regular season games over there. The response has been outstanding from the fans in Europe.
If the Bears were approached, where do you think the stance would be?
I think we'd be for it as an organization. It's part of the reality of the future at some length, some measure. So, it makes no sense not to cooperate and be part of that. So we might as well see what the experience is like.
Regarding overtime, we saw some rules changes this year as far as the playoffs are concerned, not during the regular season. What's the Bears' stance on that position?
In the playoffs, you got a different dynamic going on where you lose a game, you're done. So it has some merit to it. In the regular season, you have time to recover. So I'm not sure personally that you need overtime rules the same in the playoffs and the regular season. Whatever the rules are, as long as they're consistent, we'll understand them, have strategies to maximize the use of it, and do our best. As long as everyone's playing under the same rules, it's fine.